Speeding 15 miles per hour over the limit, even hitting 85, letting your vehicle run idle for hours. You might not do that, but people are with state vehicles that you pay for.
New GPS tracking technology has that information in it. Chief Investigator Len Bestoff filed a records request to get them.
Let's start with some good news about the driving habits of state employees in most of our state vehicles. The use of seatbelts, one of the most tried and true ways to stay safe, is done 96% of the time in state vehicles, according to the GPS technology now in place.
This sounds okay. It could be 100.
We as a state agency need to ensure that the employees that we want to promulgate these policies follow it to a much more finer detail than the general public.
The GPS tracks a lot of metrics. We just asked for a small slice, for starters. One was people driving a state vehicle over 85 miles per hour. In the last quarter of 2023, the state says this happened almost 56,000 times.
I mean, I understand if they're driving to an emergency, but it still creates unsafe situations for other people on the roads.
The state government who's telling us to do it aren't doing it. Then what right do we have to tell the general public?
Connecticut State Police are not included in this data. They have their own vehicle fleet.
The state wouldn't give us anyone on camera to explain all of this. Via email, it said a lot of times folks going over 85 are either in the Department of Correction, NCON Police, Department of Motor Vehicles, or other state law enforcement that in many cases are rushing to the scene of an emergency. And also consider this, for every time they go over 85 and in the same instance go under 85 and then back over 85 again, that counts as two separate events.
We also checked out plain garden variety speeding, 15 miles per hour or more over the limit. State vehicles were tracked doing this almost 934,000 times between October and the end of December last year, or about 3.4% of the time they were on the roads.
If you're talking, doing 40 and a 25, what if there's kids playing in that area?
Another stat that got our attention was time vehicles spent idling, burning fuel, but not going anywhere. The GPS data obtained by NBC Connecticut Investigates indicates state vehicles in the fourth quarter of 2023 were idling 30% of the time state vehicles were operating.
The state points out for this particular data set, this includes people who are out on the roads doing patrol work or just don't even have an office, and they're on the road 24/7, 365. They're either in their vehicle writing reports or in their vehicles sometimes just trying to stay warm or stay cool.
There's a lot of paperwork involved, and I would totally understand like a police officer, like during a storm, like a rainy day or something, they're leaving their car idling.
This data delivery system for state vehicles just got up and running. As for the stats of state vehicles going over 85 miles per hour, that comes out to less than 0.5% of all the miles driven with state vehicles monitored. Len Bestoff, NBC Connecticut Investigates.